So after reflecting some more on what would be involved with laying out a PCB in KiCad and then etching it, I have decided that the effort to reward benefit is not worth it. Um, for everything that I'd have to go through in order to get this set up in KiCad so I could print a transparency to create a PCB, I'd have to figure out how to create symbols for my resistor. I'd have to figure out how to create symbols for my ammeter and my fan, and I can do that easily enough in the schematic. It's simple enough just to, create a circle, put a big A in it, call it an ammeter, give it some pins. That way at least you can have it logically laid out. But when you get to the point where you want to start thinking about how you're going to put all this stuff together on a circuit board, and then when you want to expand on that into how this is going to be put together three-dimensionally into a project box, it gets to be a right pain in the ass. Especially when the heat sinks start coming into play. So what I'm thinking would be a better option would just be to use some perma-proto board. I happen to have some on hand, and I believe that this little piece of perma-proto board that I have right here should give me all the space that I need to solder my components and make good electrical connections, and then have my heat sink and lay everything out effectively. And I'm thinking what I'm going to end up doing is having the perma-proto board there with my big resistor kind of behind it and my fan taking up the back, and I'll have my heat sink. I have a rather small heat sink. I'm not getting a honking huge one because I'm going to be using this, using a fan to power this. And then just kind of get it set up in this arrangement with the heat sink over here so I can either blow air onto it or pull, air off of it. And then I'll have my ammeter kind of over top of it with these, my potentiometers are eventually going to end up sitting on this side of the, on these two edges of the on the board. Somehow I'll have to figure it out. I might end up needing to kind of cut into things. And that's part of what I don't like about perma-proto board, but whatever. It's either that or I find a different board layout. And then underneath of my potentiometers, I'm going to have my terminal block for my electrical connections, and I'll have to figure out a way to have that kind of underneath there and wire it up. So yeah, the idea is, have my potentiometers like that, but then, thinking about it here, talking about it on the camera, you immediately realize, oh, that's a stupid idea. I'll be jumping, all of the connectors right there. So the solution to that would be to just, get in there and cut apart those, cut apart that trace. Another option, let me get this out real quick, would be to use a different type of perma-proto board. And let me just go ahead and open this, might as well. Let's see here. Okay. The other option is to use a different type of perma-proto board. And on this one, I have this one. This might actually work better. I could set both of my potentiometers, I believe, right next to each other. Just enough room. Let's see. And I'm planning on getting a different 50K potentiometer that matches this one. So, well, they don't quite fit. Yeah, that would look kind of ugly right there. Well, maybe along the other side then. One there and one kind of over there. That would work. And then of course, and then with this, I'd have my power rail down the center. So hey, you know, I might want to check this out instead too. So yeah, I have options. I'm going to have to explore. I know that one thing I'm going to have difficulty with is actually finding a project box. I've been doing some shopping, and just finding a 4-inch square plastic box that I can cut out, you know, make cutouts on, is proving to be more challenging than I would have suspected. So I may end up having to see about going completely nuts and making my own little box. I'm wanting to avoid metal so I can avoid some grounding concerns. That can, you know, pretty easily be remedied by using standoffs, and you know, I'm going to have to do so, you know, to an extent anyway, to, you know, have these mounted nicely on the inside of my case. But I would rather not have to worry about how every little thing is being grounded to make sure I don't electrocute somebody if they happen to touch the outside of the casing. So that means, you know, hey, I want to use a plastic box. I may need to create a box out of acrylic. So just going to have to see what I can do with that.